working class people, they really always like to keep their credit in good shape. They have, a good mentality of like, hey, I rented this spot, I have to pay for it. So it's just a great spot, like a great asset class to invest in.
Definitely.
I think the A class, so A class is more, the higher end. You're talking about here, like in Miami Beach, you're talking about, 5,000, 6,000, rents. And those type of asset class for me are very financial based. They only want to live in those apartments for a year because these are like new attorneys that just became attorneys, and they're here to try out the waters. Hey, do I like this area? Do I want to buy a house? Am I going to get a promotion? Am I going to get, sent to another state to work? So the A class is, a lot of people love to invest in A class because your rents are extremely high. You're charging some nice rents. But it's more of you have a big turnover every year. You're getting, you're not getting repeat tenants.
No, that's just because
it's not as consistent.
It's not consistent.
Because that's right around our rent rate. We live like right down the road from here.
Yeah.
And like it is, we every year, as much as we love the place we're in, at the end of every year, it's kind of like an experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, and that's what I've talked to you, Dad, about it. Like it's enough rent where I'm like, should I be getting a house? Because $5-6K a month, it's not like astronomical or anything, but it's enough where it's like I'm spending almost $100K a year and I have no ownership in this whatsoever. So every year at the end of the lease, I've never stayed at a place longer than a year.
Right.
And are you kind of saying in the B class they will actually stay?
They stay. You have long-term tenants.
Yeah.
You have at least, they stay for more than 2 years for sure. And there's tenants that we have had in the buildings that are 10 years.
Wow.
15 years.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that.
Yeah. So these are tenants that are long-term. I like to say long-term tenants. And then for example, I could only speak for me or for us, myself and Bobby. We have our buildings where we make sure that those buildings are kept up to like our standard. If I can live there, like I go into these buildings and I'm like, you know what? I could live in this building. No, and my customer service, my property manager, the leasing agents, anybody that works there has very high standards to give to those tenants. If you don't treat those tenants great, I don't want you working for me because
100%.
they're paying us rent. So you got to give them the best service you can for them to stay there. And then also they're like, if anything breaks in their units or if anything's not working in the building, that has to get fixed within 24 hours, 72 hours max. So I give them the best service I can within the class asset that they're living in. So for me, keeping these tenants it's a big plus because the turnovers cost you money. Having to go put that that unit back on the market could take a week, can take a month. You don't never know. So you have a vacancy thing. So I try to treat my tenants as like if I wanted to get treated. So I like to keep my tenants long term, and so that's why I like that B asset.
I was going to
class.
say that's because the thing is too with the A class, even though the rents are really high, there is sometimes really long downturns where the place, like I think our place was open for like 6-7 months.
Oh yeah.
And then and my realtor told me that, so he was like, "Yo, you can say something lower than what it is because they just want somebody in there." So I think we got like $700 off a month from our place.
Easy.
Because the guy was like, it's literally 6 months, and he still has to pay the mortgage on that. So I feel like B class is better.
Yeah, I love the B class. It's to start off, we started off with the C class. And
what's that range?
So C class is you're paying anywhere from probably $800 to about $1,200 maybe, something in that range. You get a lot of government assistant programs in these buildings. I love them.
Yeah.
I still love them, to tell you the truth. We don't do them because we like to buy bigger assets. But the C class, if you concentrate on Section 8, which is the government pays half or a percentage of the rent for the tenants, you're getting that rent on a monthly basis. On the 3rd of every month, you have your money in your account.